Hey folks, Carla Sands here, putting in a plug for Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthcast.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. We've got to get on this herpes virus and attack it at its source. If you're tired of these cold sore breakouts caused by the herpes virus, you've got to discover this product I'm on board with. It's called Herplex, the natural homeopathic remedy that works on your body's defenses. Visit buyherplex.com/Gene. Do it today and save 25% on your first order by using the discount code GENE25. Throw that code in there and you got yourself a discount. Let's conquer herpes and cold sores together.
We do welcome in the Velvet Hammer, Gene Valentino. A very good morning to you, Gene.
Good morning, gentlemen.
You know, that's Ted's actual name. You know, his name is really Gene. Wasn't your dad's name Gene, Ted?
My father was Gene Tibbet. We're all Eugene Theodore Tibbet. He was senior, I'm junior, and I have a son that's the third. He goes by Gene.
Yeah, so Gene is a family name for the Tibbets.
It's a gift of the gods, by the way.
That's right. And, Tibbets, the thing is that guy who dropped the bomb on Hiroshima or Nagasaki, one of them, he was a Tibbet.
Yeah, that's correct. And,
right.
Contrary to what people said, he lived a healthy life and ended a career in the military, and everybody on that plane did well.
Yeah.
They were Trump supporters. That's the reason.
That's right. Gene, so good to have you. I appreciate you coming in early this week. We're going to be off on Friday because of the special week, the New Year's week and all that. So we thought we'd bring you in today. You know, we were talking earlier, and I just wanted to touch on this because you didn't have a chance to finish. But we were talking about the Malaysian plane crash or plane disappearance. We're not sure exactly what happened. And you were talking about how planes are tracked. And this particular plane did have a couple of hits on a satellite for some reason. I'm not sure how all that works. But would you mind going back on that and give us a few minutes about how planes are tracked and why this is so weird that this plane, disappeared?
Yeah, it's virtually impossible not to have a signature of an aircraft recorded, recognized, spotted whether it's on the ground or in the air. The fact that all electronic messaging from that aircraft disappeared off every screen is a anomaly. It's something that just doesn't make sense because it lends to the discussion of UFOs and unidentified objects and other alien powers or forces. I hate to speculate down that path. There's enough of it coming before Congress now that is being researched. And what is it, Area 51 and some of the other events over time that have given us information. But on the Malaysian crash, there's nothing, there's no debris. There's no, I don't know if we call it a crash. It's something that just mysteriously disappears spontaneously with no consequence or aftermath. To me, is very suspicious. To answer your question, an aircraft has three, maybe four different transmitting devices. It has what we call the transponder, which we are instructed to put out a four-digit number based on what the control tower tells us.
Squawk.
Yeah, they'll say squawk 2266. Roger, tower 2266, squawking now. I punch in 2266 on the dashboard, hit the ident button, and sure enough, radar contact confirm. We have you on our screen. We see you're 15 miles east of Biloxi, and stay at 3,000 feet, and they'll give me some directions. That's called the transmitter. That's the transponder. The second one, which is what everything's based on, is audio and audio communication, the communication between the tower and the aircraft. I should say the aircraft and anybody in this case. That's pretty standard. The newer one, which makes it more difficult for me to understand what happened on the Malaysian airway, is the GPS signaling. Now that is connecting with at least 12 to 14 satellites in Earth orbit, all saying, "Okay, we've got you. We see where you are," and it reports that data to other control towers, other receiving screens, and now what a version of that is called ADSB. It reports it to other aircraft. So even if the tower doesn't tell me, "Hey, you got an aircraft coming out of Biloxi 10 miles off your 9 o'clock," I can see it on my own version. It's not radar per se. It's a version of a GPS, and then the fourth one is the ELT, the emergency locator transmitter. When that Malaysian airline went down, every aircraft has an ELT device tied to the black box, and it transmits out to the world to a separate satellite system. "Hey, world, here I am. I'm going down. I'm in trouble. This is my last known location before you, if you lose me." And that signal is being transmitted as well. So we've talked just now about four different transmissions coming off the airplane. I can't fathom why not one of them uh, became a waypoint or a marker for search and rescue folks to go find. Uh, it's unfathomable to me to see that it be in such a mystery for over 10 years.
Yeah, it's totally bizarre. I've thought about it so many times. It's almost like a movie. Like 10 years from now, is that plane going to land in Bermuda? I mean, and everybody says, we were in a time warp. I mean, it's really like a movie.
Yeah, it's great material for a movie, and there are some movies out there that spin off of this kind of abduction theory or mysterious disappearance theory. It's kept some film producers very happy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I appreciate you explaining that because you are a pilot. You have been for a very long time, and you understand how all that stuff works. And I'm a sort of an observer. I've always kind of, when I was young, I wanted to learn how to fly. I realize now that I've gotten too old to fool with it, but I do follow. Like, I have flight radar, and so I'll be standing in the yard and look up and see a plane, and I'll flip on my flight radar and I can tell you where that plane's going, what airline it is. It's really cool. Flight radar is a great tool to have.
Great tool.
And if you're interested. Now, I saw one the other day. I was just looking around and I was somewhere in Europe and I saw a plane that was in red. So I clicked on it and it was squawking 7700. And I got to look at, I wasn't sure what that was, so I looked it up. That is the emergency. That plane was in an emergency situation. It had to land and it was headed to an airport. I forget where it was. This has been several months ago. But even on flight radar, the plane will turn red whenever it's squawking 7700.
Yeah. 7600 is a break in radio communication. 7500, "Hey world, I'm under hijack, I'm under attack," from within the aircraft.
Wow.
There's 3 or 4 key signals we keep handy. I don't plan to use the hijack signal with 2 seats in the plane, but
hopefully you can overcome that.
Yeah, I think I could.
Pick the right passenger. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. You still want to come flying with me is what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, enough of that. Thank you for the explanation. I did want to touch on what's going on in Venezuela. President Trump mentioned yesterday, and it's been pretty much all over the news for the last 12 hours or so, 24 hours, that they made a land strike. And it was actually a dock, I guess, in Venezuela. So he is continuing to keep this pressure on Maduro and the drug boats. And it was very interesting, the terminology that he used. He didn't say it was a drone strike. He didn't say it was a missile. He said there was a big explosion. Now, that could have been Navy SEALs that came in and planted some explosives and got back to their ship and blew it up. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that the United States' presence in Venezuela is much more than we realize. Land forces, I'm guessing, are already in the country. Uh,
Now, when you say land forces, you mean like special operation forces.
That's correct. That's correct. It's the beginning of the end for Maduro, and it's driving them nuts because Trump is strategically dialing it up one notch at a time, and the pain level rises every time there's a next chapter involved. In this case, Trump was quite frank. You know, why hit the boat on the seas? Why not the operation staging points on land that have got billions of dollars of this fentanyl and cocaine and other very illegal, very toxic drugs killing Americans in the hundreds of thousands. Enough is enough. We are at war. Part of it is with the radical Islamic jihadists, but the other part of it is the support that Mr. Maduro has been receiving from Putin in Russia and Xi Jinping in China. And here's Putin wearing a different hat depending on what time of the day it is in his negotiations with his good buddy, Donald Trump, on matters related to the settlement between Zelensky and Putin. And Trump knows he's being played. And when he comes out and says, "Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. Putin's a good friend of mine. We're good buddies." You you can take to the bank that he's probably already launched a missile at the guy somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Trump is in a situation where he's got to be very careful what he says about Putin because he's really trying to get this war done, over,
Yeah.
finished. And so if he gives Putin even a small reason to say, "Hey, screw you, I'm going to continue on what I'm doing," then he's lost the art of the deal, basically.
That's true. That's true. And in that light, he was talking about that with uh, Bibi Netanyahu right at his side from Israel the other day, and it was Bibi Netanyahu uh, that came out to the world and announced for the first time in history that Israel, the country of Israel, will be awarding the equivalent to the our Medal of Freedom or Medal of Honor award to President Trump, the first non-Israeli, non-Jewish person in the history of that award going back almost 100 years. This this award's going to Donald Trump because, as Netanyahu said, Donald Trump has saved their nation. Now, why would he be doing that? Because he can chew gum and walk at the same time. It's not that the issues within our border are going unaddressed, as some of the crazy Democrats are suggesting. It's that some of the foreign issues do tie in directly to our domestic issues. The problems we're having, for example, in Minneapolis with the Somalians abusing the welfare system, the food allocation system, the stipend for daycare and autism centers, into the billions of dollars and under investigations. The Somalians better grab that Kristi Noem offer of $3,000 and get the hell out of this country and get back to wherever the hell they came from, because
Yeah.
they have eviscerated Minnesota in a way that the nation. See, isn't it nice that the rest of the nation is smart enough to step out and help those who cannot or will not help themselves? It's part of what makes us such a wonderful democracy.
I agree with you 100%. Well, golly, that time went by so fast. I can't believe it's over. But we're so thankful that you joined us this morning and hope you have a very happy and prosperous new year.
And to you, Michael, your family, and Ted and his family. Oh, by the way, the millions of folks out there in the Pine Belt that have been listening to us every Friday morning, normally at 7:15 a.m. Thank you for being part of this team. Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. We've got to get on this herpes virus and attack it at its source. If you're tired of these cold sore breakouts caused by the herpes virus, you've got to discover this product I'm on board with. It's called Herplex, the natural homeopathic remedy that works on your body's defenses. Visit buyherplex.com/Gene. Do it today and save 25% on your first order by using the discount code GENE25. Throw that code in there and you got yourself a discount. Let's conquer herpes and cold sores together.